That's right there. Hey guys, how are you? Nice to talk to you guys. It is 29th of February of the year 2024. It is 16:25 p.m. Panama time. Uh, Yesterday we came out of the Darian Gap for the fourth time, going to horrible torture and exhaustion and complete pain of exhaustion. Um, this trip was a little bit different, but we found a lot of things that they're really preoccupying right now. This is not sensationalism for the liberals. This is not creating hysteria. This is not fear mongering. This is not conspiracy theory. This is a reality. We were inserted via helicopter into the place that we couldn't reach last time. So we have completed the Embers route completely now in the part of Caña Blanca. And then we went up to the Mountain of Death. That is one of the most horrible mountains in the routes that the indigenous and also the cartel has found a way to make routes in these mountains that there's an environmental disaster. It is really concerning what Ben Berquam and myself we saw inside the Darien. Is complete different of what we have seen in the past. We have seen the Chinese migrants. A lot of us, we broke that, the stories over here. I have been here almost 15 days. I was here with a group, first with the great group of the Epoch Times. I guide them and I took them to these migrant camps for them to see the reality. Also in that group was Michael Young, Ann Vandersteel, and also Laura Loomer. All of them, we provided for them access for them to have the ability to report. Centerfront, the authorities of Panama have been really kind to me and trustworthy, and they have trust me with who we are giving access into these migrant camps. Ultimately, the presence of Michael Young, it's important all the time. But we have provided the access for a lot of these people to enter and to have the ability to report on the catastrophes that are happening over here in the crisis. After that, we stayed over here, and I was waiting for my brother Ben. He arrived, and is when the torture started. We have to go in via helicopter, inserted through this place that is called Caña Blanca. We met with the group of Centerfront officials that we always walked over there in the middle parts. We arrived there. They were there waiting for us. And after that, we waited that night over there at that camp that is particularly their station. That is a station, border station, in the middle of the jungle. It's in the middle of nowhere is the jungle. And at that particular stage, we awaited there for them to arrive, some of the other officials, and we waited the whole night. We were late. We arrived around 2 to 3 o'clock in the evening, so we could not walk that day, right? It was too late. So we awaited. There was a big group of migrants in the bottom of the migrant camp. There was a top of the mountain where, Centerfront has a border station. On the bottom, you will actually see the migrants that's a particular point that they stay for them to walk to the most torturous route that we have been there. Last time, Ben and I were multiple children. We were helping them from drowning people. We saw decomposed bodies, and the complete disaster starts from that point, but also ultimately in the mountain of death. It is horrible. What we saw that day, uh, we went to sleep early around 8 o'clock, jungle time. And immediately at around 9:30 ish, 10 o'clock at night, we started seeing that the agents starting to get up, and somebody made a little noise, and I got up. I was sleeping in my hammock. We all sleep in hammocks. And after that, we saw a bunch of lights coming down from the mountain of death. We were like, "What the hell is that? It's a lot of lights. It looks weird." The agents were telling me it's migrants, Oscar, but it's weird. They're coming real late. They came late. They did not try to pull away from the authorities or try to go around the authorities, but they were coming in late because they did not want it to be identified. That was the perception that I had. I was staring as the multiple lights were coming down, and I decided to go there. I asked one of the agents, "Can I go over there?" And they said yes. Immediately as I arrived, this is my first time that you guys know how I feel about the language situation when it's exacerbated or in a sense it is, over the top of how we describe this situation, because I have seen this for more years than a lot of other people. As soon as I arrived, I saw more than 50 plus men that they were being smuggled, of course, by the Colombian cartel through at night. These men were from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Nepal, and the Middle East countries. All these men, all men in their late 30s, they were really uncomfortable that we were there filming. Uh, we asked the question where they were from. The majority lifted their hands, as you can see in a video that I have posted also on Twitter. And also, I have posted also on a post that on Getter. For people to understand, if you want to see my English videos, you can see them on Twitter or X. That's where the majority of my videos are going to be put on English. Then from there, they're going to be shared to Twitter, to Facebook, and YouTube. After that, I said to myself, I need to call Ben. Ben was asleep. I went up running to the camp. I woke him up and I said, "Brother, you need to see this. This is not good at all." And I woke him up. He got up, got his sandals on. We went through the river, crossed the river, and when he saw it, he was like, "Holy cow, this is not good at all." We asked around, "Does this happen normally?" And they said, "Yes. This happens on a daily day basis, where these extra-continental migrants, they're being smuggled late at night, late at night through these areas." Why late at night? Why they don't want to be identified? God knows why. But I will tell you, this is the first time that I will say this. When I saw these men that they did not know anything English, there were some of them that were aggressive in the middle of the jungle, and a lot of them they were, and this is not even filming, I was just seeing their attitude towards the agents, and some of them they were potentially didn't want to get recognized. I was concerned, extremely concerned. This is the first time that I will tell you that I'm concerned of what we've seen inside, because now I can tell you that this is, and I have never seen, and I've never said this before, but this is a national security issue. People in charge over here in Panama see this as a national security issue. People in Central America, they see this as a national security issue. People in the north of the continent, they see this as a national security issue. The only country that does not see this as a national security issue, it is the United States of America. I don't know why, but it looks like they want this. And it was not, it was concerning to see these men that they did not know no English whatsoever, no Spanish whatsoever, smuggled across by the clan of the Gulf Cartel, and they are clearly in cahoots with some political organizations in China. Now we know this. And it's just concerning what is going to happen to the United States. It's not a matter of how, it's a matter of when this ticking situation clock, it is going to happen and it is going to erupt inside of your country. That was really concerning. On the next day, we went up the trail early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, walking up. We knew that it was going to be a really hard day. We're going to go up and then come down and then go up another mountain that is to get to the other side of the west side of Panama. We went up to these mountain of death. But before I go, buy me a coffee. It's on the bottom link. If you guys like to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, I'm independent. So guys, there's the link on the bottom. Please support, we independent journalists, we depend on you guys to count the truth. Guys know that we are trying to do the best that we can. So please, there's the link right there, pinned on the chat. As we were going up the mountain. Now, let me compare in terms to, a lot of people have asked me until now, the levels of torture between which one I will say that is the most difficult one and most exhausted one. The mountain of death, it is difficult, but it's not as difficult as the first one that we crossed. The first one that we crossed, it is called the Flag Mountain, coming out of Anachucuna, that is a village of the Kuna tribe in Panama. That was extremely difficult and torturous and long, and it was 4 hours of constant going up and down, more than 2,000 feet. This one, it was difficult. It was hard because you have these big, gigantic openings in the middle where you have to walk between the mud lines, slippery. The cliff, it's a death. It's just, you will die if you fall. You go more than 2,000 feet in the air. Some you gotta, hardcore with a rope, slip down, and it's just, you gotta step correctly because you are going to break your ankle. As we were going up, we saw a couple of stories. The majority of them are Venezuelan migrants that they are, they just continue with this migration, sad migration through that place. And the sad thing about this is that when you're going up, somebody's saying, why do you put yourself in such danger? I will answer you this question real quick, because my obligation right now is to be a voice for the evil that is trying to attack humanity. God put me on this place to do my job, and it is God's plan, that is my mission, to continue to expose the evil. That is my mission as a journalist, as a reporter. That is why. Continue with what I was explaining. So as we are walking up, Ben and I, we hardcore going up. Matthew Tomlin, for the first time, our brother from Panama, also was there recording and broadcasting everything. And I decided to carry some children. You guys know that I'm a humanitarian more than anything. Uh, I have a heart. I'm a Latino. I see my people, and it hurts me to see my people suffer like this. But at the same time, it's a liability on every country, and also it's a national security subject now that it needs to be controlled. But you know, the children, they don't even have an idea what is happening. I carried a couple of children going down the mountain. I carried a woman that she broke her ankle coming down the mountain. And there was some stories, like a story of a man that didn't have a leg, no crunches, and he was walking through the Darien through that route. Unbelievable. Also, we basically we found an elderly lady also there, 60 some years old. What the hell is she doing inside the Darien, walking through that place? It's just unbelievable. This is nonstop as we are going. We're like, wow, wow, wow. Again, we're going through the same torture, man. And I'm just looking at my brother. I'm like, again, man, this is a nonstop making money machine. Before we went up, I interviewed a couple of migrants that they talk about these tourist packages, the things that we have been talking about before. But we never had statements from the migrants themselves. So I decided to go into the migrant camp that I was located before I went up the mountain to see if I can find out who can give me information on these tourist packages. Fortunately, we found a group of 3 migrants and more that they could not even be on camera, but all of them, they had the same perception. The Gulf Cartel in Colombia, right there where we were at in Necoclí, Colombia, the departure of the migrants, where the UN is giving out condoms and Plan B pills to women, where Hayes has a map of how to get from Necoclí into the parts of Capurganá, Candí, and Turbo, this Jewish organization, non-governmental, who's promoting and incentivizing migrants to go into the jungle, that particular place. So in this place, you will have, I will talk about the mobilization centers, please, step by step. So this place, they has a lot of tourist spots and a lot of tourist locations for tourist packages, where is a gigantic tourist boat. What they're doing now is they're charging for you to continue your route as a migrant from this particular place that is the place of Necoclí, Colombia, into the places of the jungle that is by boat is like around 3 hours to the 3 villages. They will charge you $320 for that. Listen to this. This is my bag. I want to show you something else also. When I get up there, when I go topic by topic, I want to show you something that is extremely important for you guys to see. And it's extremely important for you guys to understand why I do this, why I continue to do this. And I will show you guys something. Please do not go away. Going step by step to explain. Look how dirty it is. So we're talking about the tourist packages, right? And the tourist packages, what they're telling me is that they are offered a package between $320 to $340 to $350 per person. So you can mobilize from there to the jungle. And what do they provide? A wristband that is the package, like in the United States. They will put this wristband in your hand, and it says Panama Security. Panama. Panama Security. Seguridad Panama. What the cartel is giving out, these bracelets, they're on the top of the Death Mountain. That's what we found on top, but I'm going step by step. So what the cartel provides is that they give these wristbands as you pay your package, that is 320, 340, 350, and they will make the migrant believe, the cartel, that is going to provide you security all the way to the top of the mountain. And from there, God protect you, suffer, die. Whatever happens to you, it is under your own responsibility. That is the tourist packages. They have different colors for these packages. You got the yellow ones. This is evidence right here of what the cartel is using. Of course, I just show you the pink right here. Also, they got the blue ones with different things in the different designs right there. And I had a bunch of ones right here, all trash. All of these packages is what they are making. This is what open border policies has done, has created a human market that these people are basically, it's modern day slavery. It is a weaponized migration which they are taking advantage of migrants and making millions and millions of dollars. And this is the organized crime, the Cartel of Colombia, which they are extremely connected all the way to Turkey to smuggle people from China and to ultimately create a market with people that they are not from this continent. They are growing, and this is because of Joe Biden and the global compact of immigration. This is what I wanted to say to highest. This is your highest. You have a map in Bajo Chiquito where you are promoting people to enter to these places where people are paying a package of $320 and $340 and $350 to the cartel so they can be smuggled into the jungle. You are part of this. To these non-governmental organizations, you are exposed. You're caught red-handed because you know that there's a business. You know that they're violating human rights. And you are, on the other hand, preaching that you're defending human rights, that you are for humanity, that you want to fix the crisis, when you are the one that creates the crisis and you're the only one that has the formula to cure the crisis. It's sad how they're making money out of, and let me just tell you, they don't charge only 320, 340, 350 to adults. They charge 320, 340, 350 to children, to toddlers. This is the disgusting situation about this. It's a huge business. Huge business. And the NGOs, the international organizations, they know about this. Why are you not saying anything about this, Highest? OIM? Why are you not talking about this? You're not talking about the tourist packages that these people are being paid off, the cartel is being paid off by migrants, and they're putting their lives at risk and they're dying on the jungle, and children are dying. Almost people are drowning. You have to keep the machine and keep it working. Sad. As we were going up and we reached the point, look at all this dirt. And we reached the dirt and we reached the top part of the mountain of death. We found, and I will put that video in the next incoming hours, as I am putting this video of these banners for my manager to see if she has the time to translate and they can give you guys the information as quick as possible. As we were going up the mountain, we found Ben Berquam and myself, Matthew Tomlin also, and we were going up with Sanafront, the authorities of Panama, the wonderful agents of Sanafront. Let me give a shout out to them. They're the best agents in the continent, the best. As we were going up, we found multiple condoms. There's a video which we are counting the condoms, Ben and myself. And also we saw used condoms in the top of the mountain with residue inside of them. We saw complete unpackaged, unripped condoms, continuous condoms all the way on top of the mountain. For these NGOs that we caught you, the OIMs that we caught you giving up these rape kits before Necoclí, before they go to these 3 parts that enter the jungle, you were giving out condoms and you were giving out Plan B pills to the migrants to prevent them from not being abused and raped. Basically, you're telling them possibly you're going to get abused or raped to the woman, so I'm helping you to prevent something. And ultimately, you're giving the man to just be protective of himself in case he wants to do something in the jungle. Who in the hell, who would ever think to be having in the hellhole of the Darian Gap, having time to have sexual relations? But let's not forget, this is the UN. So as we were walking up, we saw the multiple condoms. I was extremely upset. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Something happens on top of this mountain with the organized crime. Possibly there was taking advantage of women, possibly, different situations, which the migrants have explained to me before. We use the condoms to put our cell phones in it so they will not get wet, right? So I say to them, why does the UN doesn't give you Ziploc bags instead of condoms? If you want to put your cell phone, protect it. And I will show you which Ziploc bag you can use. So you can tell the UN if they want to give you something to protect your phone. There's this thing that is called a Ziploc bag. And it is right here. And it can be closed. And your phone is not going to get wet. Instead of giving you this, guess what they're giving you? This is a condom that I found, multiple ones that I had to take one for evidence for you to see. This is a condom, unwrapped condom, that I found on the top of the mountain. This is the problem on top of the mountain. This is what we found. Disgusting. What is a condom on top of the mountain doing? What it is a condom on top of the mountain doing in the middle of torture. And also, not only that, used condoms. Not just one condom, 2, 3, 4, multiple ones. We found them. Different brands, different lookalikes, but it's the same situation. Let me remind you, let me go a little bit to the past. In our second time when we were going through the Darien, we came into a crossfire with some criminals of the Cartel of Colombia, where Sanafront, the heroic agents, neutralized one and arrested 2 of them. When the ones that they were being arrested and they were put on the floor, they were searching, the agents, their pockets. Guess what came out of their pockets? Condoms. Why you give migrants condoms before they enter the jungle? It is pure evil what happens in that mountain. It's a disgrace what happens in that mountain. And it should be crimes against humanity for what happens in that mountain. I understand the necessities of people. They are exacerbated because of the conditions of life of their countries. But this putting your child at risk, it is a crime. It should be a crime against humanity. Going up the mountain, we saw some tiger paws, little pumas or tiger paws going up. And we cannot bear to witness. These are shoes that I took from the mountain himself, from a toddler. This right here. These are shoes of the Darian, like that, dirty, from a child. How old do you think this child is? It's not even a 1-year-old child. Or if it is a 1-year-old child, look at this shoe with dirt from the Darian. I took these shoes because I want the evidence to have it. I want to show your wristbands that you're giving out and you're making millions out of your tourist packages, and you're pushing people to migrate through horrible journeys where Darien, it is not a route. And you're making millions out of the open border policies of Joseph Biden. Also, I want to show that we exposed this. The condoms that you were giving out, the rape kit, you, United Nations, and Nick Oakley with Plan B pills, and this is what you're giving out in the top of the mountain. And this right here, the complications of children. This is the sad thing about it. These are coming straight from the Darian Gap, not adding all of these. Look how many of your wristbands that you make as a business. Millions of dollars are being made over human misery, over humanitarian business, over human migration. But not only that, over a weaponized migration, because the leftists and the progressives, they're using this for their own agenda, nothing else. The most aggravated thing is the story that is about to come out from Law and Border, Ben Berquan with Oscar Blue, Real America's Voice News. The breaking news is what we found, a migrant from China. His story, it is unbelievable. We found him in the middle of the jungle, and his statements that he gave us are completely shocking. Shocking. We found him in the middle of the jungle. I'm not going to relate all the story, but I'm going to give you the most important things. This migrant from China who had fled China because the CCP and the Communist Political Party of China, it is persecuting Christians. What Xi Jinping wants to do with the Christians in China is formulate the religion as a state. So the state has control of the religion, not the religion of the people. The state has control of it. So all Christians are being persecuted by the government, that tyrannical government of China. Not only that, we asked a really serious question, and I will leave the statements till now, and I will answer a couple of questions only. We asked him, do you think that there is infiltrated agents of the CCP in the United States of America migrating with Chinese people? And he immediately nodded. We were using an application to translate from English to Mandarin, from Mandarin to Chinese, from Mandarin to English. As he was typing, when we wrote that and he was reading it, he immediately said, yes, yes, yes. No Xi Jinping, no CCP, no Biden. He started writing, and what he wrote was shocking. He said, everybody in China knows this, but they are blocking the information and communication to go out so they can alert the American people that a lot of the migrants from China, that they're persecuted by the situation that I just told you, Christians that are being persecuted in China, a lot of this a lot of the migrants, they're being infiltrated in these groups, and they are spies for the Communist Political Party of China. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not sensationalism. This is not creating hysteria. This is not fear mongering. This is not white supremacy. For all these stupidity language, racist, fascist, narcissist, bigot, this is not a conspiracy. Hold on a minute. I need to block somebody because it's just too much. Some of these people are just, hold on. There we go. Down with you. This is not a conspiracy. This is not creating hysteria. This is a reality. I've been 4 times in the Darien. This is the reality now. This is a subject of national security. Now, I will address this situation as professional, as sincere as I can. I'm a pro-migrant. I believe migration is a human right. But in those human rights, there's laws and there's processes that you need to obey those laws to migrate. I believe that everybody deserves a better life. It hurts me that the Venezuelan people are going through this, that they were a prosperous country, one of the beautiful countries in America, in the continent of America. Venezuela was one of the most richest countries, and now they're going to a dictatorship in their country, that they're pushing their people out. In these groups that they're migrating, you will see a lot of bad people, that they're in the middle of these vulnerable groups. I have walked with doctors, engineers, lawyers, good people from Venezuela, that they're looking for a better life. Even the Venezuelans themselves, they will tell you, we have bad people among us, Oscar. These bad people now, they are showing up in your country. And we talked about this 3 years ago in a caravan. We were the ones that we broke that news. I told you guys on the live, but they don't look at the little guy. They look at the establishment networks. I told you, there is a really dangerous gang infiltrating right now into the borders of the United States. Be aware, they're coming, or they are possibly already in your country. And this gang, it is the one that is causing these disasters in New York, the multiple abuse and horrible crimes that has been happening lately between, sadly, the entity of Venezuelan migrants with innocent lives inside of your country. And this violent gang, it is the Tren de Aragua gang. And we talked about this 3 years ago in a caravan. I broke that news in the war room with Steve Bannon. Then it was taken to the Gateway Pundit. Then somebody expanded it to somewhere else. Why we know about this? Because the migrants themselves, they were telling us on that caravan, there's people from this violent, dangerous gang inside of this caravan. There is people inside of this caravan that they're trying to damage our image. There is people of that. This was 3+ years ago. 3+ years ago. Somebody saying, Oscar, we are aware of these gangs. No, you're not. Because a lot of the people are just finding out. I'm sorry. And you say fully aware. No, you're not. Because you're just complaining about it now. They won't be treated with kid gloves. You're treating them, you're giving them $10,000+ as bonuses. Please stop. Stop. They need to cut the funding of the NGOs. The solution is this, before I go to the solution. What we have seen, it is a reality. We've seen it from years ago, and we have been saying it It is going to grow. It is going to grow. And now, sadly, because of the horrible way that they have perpetuated a migrant, and that ultimately they have these globalists, these international organizations, they have damaged the word migrant. They have put it on the ground and stepped on it on the ground. Now the perception of migrant, it is completely disastrous. I'm a migrant myself. It hurts when they're talking about migrants in this way. But we have to be in a reality world. This is a national security issue now. It has been. And not because what the people that we found the other day, that they were extremely sketchy. And these people did not want it to be inspected through the middle of the jungle, smuggled at late at night. It is because of what has been happening in the past days and weeks in your country. This also has been happening in Europe, has been happening in places like Ireland, the UK, Spain, and so, and so, and so. The problem, as I did a national interview right here with a national TV station right here in Panama, as I have said before, the problem of this situation that is giving the migrants a bad image, not only that, that is complicating the lives of the migrants to explode them and to get them out and making the cartels rich and making a profit out of human misery, instead of providing a better life for them in their countries and trying to fix their countries as a teamwork, providing better manufacturing jobs, jobs that they can profit and they can work and they can provide a future for education and good living. Instead of that, these globalist organizations that they live out of crisis, they go and they infect the country with the crisis and they have the solution for the crisis. So what is the problem of all of this? I just said it right now in the war room. We were at Puerto Ovalia, Panama. We came out of the jungle walking for 9 hours straight. I don't even know how many miles. This last day, I was cramped up. I could not even walk my legs. And in the last, apparently an hour and 30 minutes, I had a back spasm that it will not even let me breathe and talk for like 5 minutes. It was bad. On the last day today we did a hit with Steve Bannon. And I said to him, the problem is this, and everybody now is understanding, where is the problem? You guys know who's in control of your borders. The ones that are in control of your borders, it is the United Nations. Nobody else. They are part of this global compact of immigration. The global compact of immigration, I have multiple times have been saying it consistently. I was talking about it in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021, 22, 23, and now 24. The Global Compact of Migration gives all these amenities and necessities to migrants with open borders. You have to provide bonuses like the ones that you're giving. You have to provide housing. You have to provide refuge. You have to provide schools. You have to provide work. You have to provide everything. This plan was in the works on the long term by Barack Obama, was removed by Donald Trump, and it has come back to Joe Biden, continuing the plan of open borders. This global compact on migration, it is the one that is destroying lives. It is a compact that is not even complying with what it says. The compact says that the migrant needs to be migrating documented, peacefully, secure, and with a purpose. The four of them are completely the opposite of what is happening right now. Migrants are dying, migrants are being trafficked, and the cartel is using and making billions. And now we are making the criminals richer and powerful, and the people, you, everybody else, less powerful, and your voice is less heard, but the criminals their voice are heard. It's unbelievable. The first thing that it needs to be done is eradicate the global compact on migration, take away the power from these international organizations, not defund them completely, because there's branches that actually, they need support. But when it comes to border issues, defund all of that. Cut the funding of these NGOs that they're working ruthlessly, incentivizing human misery, and also taking advantage of the vulnerabilities of people. Cut their funding and immediately prosecute these people for crimes against humanity. It is not only defund them, it's go after these NGOs that are working in the United States and Mexico border. These NGOs are ruthless. They work and they know what the cartel is doing on the Mexican side, and they know how this chain of events, it is a chain of making a profit out of human misery and migration. If they're making so many billions, why people are still migrating through the Darien Gap? Because that is the filter of misery, which they are eligible now that you pass through that to have political asylum or refuge. And it is the only solution. Why these international organizations that cannot provide an international identification for people to transit? Why they don't come to an agreement for Venezuelans to not be demanded, so they can have a visa, so they can fly and they cannot use the jungle, and see if they can qualify for asylum from Colombia, from Panama, from Costa Rica into the United States? Because it is a business. It is money. It is power. It is part of the agenda of destruction of borders. It is the reality. This chant, it is coming now and now more real. No borders, no walls, no USA at all. Remember that liberal progressive chant? It is all reality now. It is happening. This is what we have found, and more. Whew, more stories. My God. This is only the tip of the iceberg. This trip has been long for me. I try to do my best all the time that I'm here. Try to be as professional as I can to bring the reality and to provide access for the people that they really deserve, for them to expose the realities that are happening over here. But it is unfortunate, really, that a lot of people are not understanding that this is an aggravated situation. And it is going to get more aggravated as this government continues in the United States. Simple as that. There's nowhere to put it. As I have said before, and I leave with this, I am a migrant myself. I'm a pro-migrant. I believe migration is a human right, but in those rights, there's laws, and you need to obey those laws. This is wrong. Seeing people suffer all the time when I go over there is just heartbreaking. But more heartbreaking it is that the NGOs and the international organizations, they know what is going on behind closed doors, and they don't want to do anything about it. Why? Because you know why. This is a business for them. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. It has been a pleasure talking to you guys this evening. It is 17:14, the time in Panama City, 29th of February of the year 2024. Ben Berquam and myself, we just went through the Darian Gap for the fourth time with Matthew Tomlin, my brother, which he did an excellent job, by the way. An excellent job for his first time. My God, he did an excellent job. God bless his dear heart and his family. I love that man so much. He's the kindest man that I ever met in my life. God bless every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining in. In Jesus' name, amen. Lord, thank you so much for providing us another challenge to expose the evil within that jungle. You're the one, Lord, that knows the truth, and you know why you put us in that place, to receive the pain, to absorb the pain, and to release the pain. Lord, Let that light of your angels and grace shine all over that mountain and provide safety for people to not be abused. And please, Lord, you're the only one that it can cure those hearts that they are purposely doing this to hurt individuals and migrants and children. It is you, Lord, the only one that it can fight against the organized crime and put an end to this. You are going to win because you are the King and Kings, the Lord of Lords. You are the good versus evil, and you will always prevail, and you will always win no matter what, Lord Jesus Christ. In your name, amen. God bless you. Thank you for your endless support. We will see each other next time. I'm be giving you guys updates during today, during tomorrow, doing a little bit later. And I will be talking to you guys in the next incoming moments. God bless you guys. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, God's plan, it is our mission.